Hi guys, welcome to the Besties in the Books podcast. This is Liz.
And I'm Ashley, and you have joined us right now today for our Harry Potter Minisode. This is number 4, guys. We've been doing them every Friday for you, little mini episodes going over the Harry Potter series, since this is our first time reading this series.
Exciting. I cannot believe, honestly, I cannot believe that we're already on book 4, Goblet of Fire. Like, that's insane to me. Like, it seems like an eternity, yet only a blink of an eye.
Dude, this book felt like an eternity.
Yeah,
so buckle up, guys. We're ready to spill the beans.
Yeah, so exciting. So, you guys know the drill. You know, if you've been following our Harry Potter minisode series. I have such a hard time saying that.
Yeah, it's both. It's both a mini-series and a minisodes, because as soon as Harry Potter's done, we got another one for you guys coming.
And it's good.
So if Harry Potter's not your thing, but you're just here for moral support, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we got something else coming that's a classic that we've never read before that people are hounding us to read. So
yeah,
we're going to do that too. Don't worry.
We just got things coming. You know, things are always
coming. We have mini-series and mini-sodes. So there are. So I see why you think this is our mini-series of Harry Potter with mini-sodes. And then our next one will be a new mini-series with mini-sodes.
Yeah.
And then every Tuesday is just our regular episodes.
And then, and then our brains just spin off into another dimension.
That's literally what's happening. Because then we also have book club.
Yeah.
And then we also have our personal reads that I really want to get back to at some point.
Yeah. I mean, so here we go. It's our first time reading Harry Potter. Today we're going to be going over Goblet of Fire. You guys know the drill. The first 5-ish minutes or so are spoiler free, but then we're going to get into spoilers. However, we'll warn you, so you'll know about it. You know, we're sticking with the same format. You guys seem to be liking it, where, you know, we do our 1 sentence rapid review each.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then yep. And then and then the infamous 5-sentence summary of the whole entire book, which I'm locked and loaded. I'm prepared.
We're loving that part. That's my favorite
it's
part.
Fun. It's fun for me too. What else would I want to do at 5 o'clock in the morning? Then write a 5-sentence summary. Then synthesize all of my notes from a 700-page book into 5 sentences.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. I can think of nothing else. But yeah, so, and then, you know, we get into our least in most favorite parts, characters, a little bit of trivia, all that kind of good stuff. So if that sounds good, stick around. But before we get into that, we just wanted to say thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys so much for being here, taking time out of your day and your book. We know how hard that is to tune in, you know, to put the book down or turn off the audio and say, hey, I want to listen to these crazy ladies yell at each other about books. Thank you so much. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcast. That way you get notified when we drop new podcasts, which we said right now is 2 times a week, baby. Besties in the Books podcast. And you can also watch us on YouTube, which if you didn't know, earlier this week, we dropped our first author interview with Lindsay Straube, author of Split and Swallow, a fan fave. It was a great time. So we interviewed her for the first time. So just a little plug again for ourselves. I'll definitely make sure that's linked down in the description box so you can check out that interview from Tuesday, as it was so fun to have somebody guest star on us for the first time.
It was awesome. Yeah. And it turned out great. I'm really excited for you guys to listen to that.
Yeah, for sure. So if you haven't, make sure to do that. Oh, and also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Besties in the Books podcast.
I did want to say that, you know how like when you go down the rabbit holes of the internet sometimes, as you do.
Oh yeah, every other day.
Well, yeah. Well, the other day I was like, you know, I think honestly it was because like every time I get a new review for my business, my like point of sale like booking software notifies me. Well, no, I don't know if people like, do we get emails when people rate and review the podcast? Because I don't check our like biz email.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I need to go look. I have to like manually look into each platform.
Yeah. So, we have 2 new 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts that actually wrote little paragraphs. So maybe at the end of one of these next episodes, we can like read some. They're so sweet. I just wanted to say, you know, guys, that like completely made my night. I just like went down the rabbit hole. I was like, I wonder if anyone's left us a review. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have 2 and they're both so great.
Thank you so much, you guys, for freaking taking time out to review us. Yeah. That means so much to us. Oh, we'll definitely. And the next full length that we film, we'll do that.
Let's do a shout out. Some. Yeah, let's do it.
Because for sure. Maybe we'll pick like one every episode that we do. Yeah. We are a little pre-filmed, so don't yell at us if we don't do it right away. But after that, we're going to do
It's
it.
on.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It means everything. It means everything.
Oh,
So,
it does.
okay, so still spoiler-free part. Let's just get into our one-sentence review of this book with your star rating. There's no spice in these, so we don't need a spice rating. So just star rating and one-sentence review.
Okay.
Okay. Are you going to go first, or you want me to go first?
Golly.
Golly.
It's the only part that I didn't write down because I like doing this,
Just
on the seat of my
fly.
pants
Same,
or whatever.
Same.
And now I'm a couple books past now, so now I got to think about it.
What?
Okay.
Not in Harry Potter. I was like, what's going on? You're leaving me in the dust.
As soon as I was done with this, I had to go into Hurricane Wars, and then I went into Feathers So Black for book club, and it's fallen out of my brain, and then not enough of it stayed in my brain.
I thought you meant you were already on 2 books away from now in Harry Potter, and I was like, okay, great. What am I supposed to do?
The next one's 26 hours because I'm listening to the audio. There's no way.
Yeah.
Okay. My star review, you guys. All right. So just to go back a little bit, back in time, our first book was, I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars. Second book was a 5-star for me. Third book, I don't remember. Who knows? Who knows what time it is? This is the 4th book, right?
Yeah.
So what is the name of this one again? Okay. Goblet of Fire. I cannot get them to stick in my brain. Goblet of Fire. Okay. 3 stars. I was so excited for this book. And it just was so long and so many things happened, but yet not enough. And it just kept going like that. So therefore, I'm done. That's my sentence. Therefore,
3 stars.
Like one thing could have been in that book and it would have been more satisfying.
Dude, okay. Well, then
guys.
I think you're going to be surprised by my official review.
Okay, wow.
Because we haven't talked about. I mean, we talked about it a lot, but we try not to talk about the finer details.
Yeah,
of how
once
feel.
it starts getting down to towards the end, we pretty much go mute to each other when it comes to it.
Okay, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I rated it 4 stars.
Wow.
Why, you say? Okay, because I was extremely bored and nothing happened for the first 85% of the book. But then the last 15% of the book, everything happened and it took a very dark turn. Therefore, I rated it a 4-star instead of a 3-star because I think it was the necessary bridge that we had to take in order to get to a darker part of the series.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's what I'm going with. Because if I don't cling...
That's your right.
If I don't...
You're entitled to that opinion.
If I don't cling to that little bit of hope, guys, I will just shrivel up like you-know-who and die.
Yeah.
But he doesn't die.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get into that.
But he was shriveled at one point.
He was just super shriveled.
Sorry.
Super shriveled.
Super shrivelly.
We'll get into that in a second because that was traumatizing.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, that's our one-sentence, spoiler-free reviews of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. You're welcome. So I was wondering, so how far are you and your daughter in your reading process? Are you still on book 2?
We're still on book 2, and we slowed way down with school starting and dance classes and MTC. So she's maybe like a third into it. It's really cool though for her. Well, she's kind of not cool about it because she just finished it. But her new teacher that she has this year is actually reading out loud the first Harry Potter.
Oh,
so
cool.
She was like, "It's great," but then I just finished it, so it's not great. So he said anybody who has recently read it can have like their own thing. But she's like re-listening to it again. But she's just like, he's not reading it in a British accent, Mom. It's like really boring. I'm just like, well, sorry.
You spoiled her. You spoiled her.
I spoiled her. So yeah, she's liking it. She is. We just need to have the time to do it. So and and we still haven't even finished the first movie. So
I mean, I haven't. I have one of our book club girlies is super obsessed with Harry Potter, and so not Rescinda, she also is. This is a different person.
Yeah.
And so when I get back from this next trip that I'm taking, I'm going to go over to her house and we're going to watch the first movie. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember them at all. Like I literally went to the midnight showing with my friend, like when it came out.
Yeah, and I thought I remembered too much where I would be disappointed. And I don't remember anything in this book except like one teeny tiny part.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I don't remember any of that. I don't know if the movies went way off the rails, like really changed things around.
Maybe.
Like, we'll find out when I watch it. Yeah. So maybe, because I was just like, what? This? Okay. So I had mentioned, like, in a previous episode, like, I don't mind slowing down because it is getting darker. Mm-hmm. Not to say I want to censor her necessarily on this stuff, because I still find it age appropriate. It just depends on the personality of the kid. Mm-hmm. She hasn't really reacted to anything dark yet, but we haven't really gotten into the dark stuff. And I do know that this series grows with kids as like saying, like, I don't know the exact timeline, but I think it was like one book release a year.
Right.
So it was growing with kids as they aged. So I don't want to like binge read all of these with her at 9 years old, because especially at the end of this book, it's getting real dark.
Yeah, totally.
Here, which I love.
Yeah.
But for her and what I know about her personality, you know, some of her friends are watching Stranger Things and Wednesday and stuff. She's not interested in any of that stuff at all. Yeah. So I don't think that she would love this yet, but probably next year she'd be ready for book 3 or 4 by then, and she'll be fine.
Just let her kind of like discover it in her own time.
Yeah, exactly. And as she sees fit and want her to be excited. And at one point, she might not want me to read it out loud. I don't know, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. So we're having a good time, but we're just taking it slow now.
Yeah.
Taking things slow.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is probably about the time when we're starting to get into the...
Spoilers coming. I can't make it sound nice, guys. You have to understand. It's supposed to be jarring.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if it was too serene, no one would, like, really, it wouldn't stand out enough, you know?
Yeah, like, that was a... That, like, I mean, that wasn't eloquent either, but what's that like? I think of Bambi jumping through the forest.
Oh,
like,
yeah. It's like...
meadow music.
It's like Beethoven. It's like Beethoven piano music. You know what I mean?
But the gentle Beethoven, not like the intense
or
one.
like, it's like Green Sleeves, you know? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Okay, I used to play the piano for a while, so it's like
I didn't.
It's like
I could not afford.
I don't I don't know who like wrote that. It's like classical music is what you're getting at.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a specific one. People know who know. They know.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's like literal meadow sounds in the background of it that people put.
That's
like
funny.
Birds chirping and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's hilarious. So
spoilers coming, guys. Buckle up.
Spoilers are coming. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Trash or treasure? Which one will Liz end up in?
I
think I'm getting the treasure today. I think I'm getting the 5 stars today or whatever.
All right. Let's find out.
You know, I was really looking forward to writing this 5-sentence summary, because until I hit that 85%, I was like, nothing happened. So I have nothing to do. It's like literally like 2 things. I'll just say 2 things. It'll be the easiest freaking 5 sentences I've ever written. Then that last 15% happened, and I was like, oh my God, everything now. Like, everything has happened in 3 chapters. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I would like the dings as well, so please count along with us.
All right. Come on, guys. Let's go. We will ding it after she's done.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Okay. It's like you pop back up and you have like a triangle. Like, you know.
Wait, what?
You like pop, you know, like the thing that you like, or like a cowbell, or like some type of percussion instrument to like make the.
Oh, yeah. I was picturing. Listen, it's been a long day. I was picturing like a literal like cutout triangle. I'm like, what? And why?
Like, why would I have that?
I don't know.
No, it'd be like ding. It'd be like
yeah.
Ding, ding. Yeah.
Oh, that would. We might need to get that for the next series. Okay, the next Minisodes.
I'm not going to tell you no on that.
It's easier than me inputting it later with the technology.
Yeah, because it's like going back to old school. Like you're literally.
Oh my gosh, if I wasn't using I'm going to get that. I'm going to get a triangle. And I'm going to pull it out just for this episode. Mark my words.
The podcast just turns into us trying to figure out how you can make cool noises. You know, like old school. There's people who do that stuff still. You know?
Yeah.
Not everything is just
the coconuts to make the horse sound.
Yeah. Is that what you guys want?
Like on Monty Python, he's doing that behind him. Yeah, it's great.
So we're just taking it back, like, to 20 years ago, you know? You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's like the time. Anyway. It's like the time of when this book came out. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Harry Potter.
I thought you were gonna say it's like 20 years ago, like when we started filming this podcast for them. Like, sorry guys. It's only been 15 minutes, but God, we've taken so many tangents.
We want you guys to feel the pain that we felt reading this book. So when
are you going to get to the end?
You never know.
Just like you never know. It's going to be just like the book. We want to set the same vibes as Goblet of Fire.
Right.
Man.
It says it's 750 pages, but it feels like 1,000,000 pages.
Dude.
Okay.
Unnecessary is my word of the day.
Yeah.
For this book?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Okay, counter. Let's get serious. Go.
Get the triangle out. Wait, we don't have it yet.
I want it so bad right now. Okay.
Okay, so Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire in 5 sentences. Okay. Harry is having bad dreams and premonitions about Voldemort, Nagini, I think that's how you say her name, not sure, and Wormtail plotting to kill him and talking about other people Voldemort has already killed, like Bertha Jorkins, who the Ministry of Magic simply thinks is missing.
Ding.
1 sentence. Okay.
See, it's so unsatisfying. I mean, I add a sound later, but still.
It's going to be so funny when you're like, ding.
I can't wait. Amazon Prime come through. Hopefully I can get it before the next episode, you guys.
Oh my God. Okay. They all go to the Quidditch Cup where someone summons the Dark Mark and several wizards decide to start toying with and exploiting humans for fun, which basically shows that his Death Eaters are still lying dormant to help Voldemort rise back to power at any time.
Mm-hmm. Ding.
Mm-hmm. They get back to Hogwarts, where the Triwizard Tournament between 3 schools is happening, and Harry was entered in to participate in it by a mystery person, who likely wishes him harm, since he is so young and it's so dangerous. But Harry ultimately prevails, tying with the other contestant, Cedric, on the last maze task. Say that 5 times fast. Jesus Christ.
Ding. That's 3, baby.
Yep. They grab the Triwizard Cup simultaneously, transporting them to a scene where Wormtail is brewing a potion in a cauldron with a gross tiny gremlin baby, his chopped off hand, and Harry's blood, which brings Voldemort back, who challenges Harry to a duel, but because their wands are both made from the same phoenix feathers, they get locked in a standoff until several people Voldemort has killed, ghosts, including Harry's parents, help him escape with Cedric's body, since unfortunately Cedric did not make it.
Ding. 4. A little long there, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, you know. Yeah. So we find out that Professor Moody, the new dark arts teacher, of course, has actually been Barty Crouch this whole time, who took over his body against his will, who escaped Azkaban in order to help Voldemort come back. His soul is sucked out by a Death Eater, and then Dumbledore decides to start garnering support for the upcoming... I put war in parentheses, or in quotes, I'm not really sure what you'd call it. That's bound to happen since the Ministry of Magic doesn't think it's important. Then Harry goes back home for the summer.
Yep. Ding. 5.
I feel like it was pretty good. I feel like it was
pretty good. I will say, his body wasn't taken over. He was put in a freaking chamber, and then the guy took the drink to make himself
himself look like it. Oh, yeah. Okay.
But that's all right. I'll still give it to you.
Yeah, close enough.
It's all right. It's okay. You did this 5 sentences, even if one was a little off. That's all right. All right. Treasure box for Liz. Into the Chamber of Secrets you pick. Ooh, Tom Riddle for you. All right.
Tom Riddle for you.
That's ode to our second episode. You guys gotta watch it. So there you go. Listen, that was great. That's all we needed to know. The beginning,
not necessary,
and the end. That middle, okay. No. It was much. Kind of like an Iron Flame situation. There was like too much of nothing,
and then
in
chaos,
the middle.
and then chaos,
and then chaos. Yeah, that we just would rather have focused more on that.
Yeah. Agreed.
It was, so listen, to elaborate on my feelings a little bit more, guys, first of all, nobody warned us, which, okay, that's fine. I understand. We have to, it's probably a canon event or whatever they call it.
Yeah. We had to go through it.
I was so excited for this one in particular because these books were banned for both Liz and I, right? And I remember this cover specifically, my friend reading, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty freaking cool. He's like, the goblet and stuff, but I'm like, try not to like look at it because it's bad, whatever. So I was like, ooh, that one's probably really good. And then I was like, what? Because, listen, at this point, this is our 4th book. It's just the same like storyline every time, and reading it as adults, I'm just like, okay,
it's a bit repetitive.
Like, I get it.
It is. It's like,
yeah,
it's like Harry goes home for the summer. his family's mean. Then
his family is mean, and then we open up with his family being mean, and then he gets taken from somebody helps him.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the school. Something cool happens at the beginning, but then it's like school kid stuff, like, but with magic involved, which, like, it was cool for a little while, but this one definitely was the most, like, angsty adolescent feeling, so it was hard for me to get into. But I see as a kid, I would probably like it. Well, what about you?
Oh, we didn't talk about that. Like what we would have rated it as a kid.
Yeah.
I rated it a 4-star now because, and I'll elaborate on this, more as we go along, because I feel like I was gonna rate it 3 stars, but I gave it 4 stars for a reason. Okay, we'll get into it in a bit. But I feel like as a kid, I probably would have rated it similarly, maybe a 4-star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a kid, I probably would have rated it 4 stars because I think I would have liked all that adolescent stuff as a kid.
Yeah.
And the, like, just reading about their year there, where, like, as an adult, I just felt like it was too many similar things from the first one. I know we got, like, some new kids involved from the different schools. I was so scared it was going to be all Quidditch all year.
Oh, right.
I thought it was going to be a Quidditch tournament. But thank God it wasn't. Thank the crows. It was the Triwizard, which was more interesting.
I guess.
So there was some interesting stuff. It was just, I just think it just dragged on too much. I don't know if she had a page quota she had to fill or a word quota.
Oh, man.
It needed to be trimmed down, straight up.
Yeah, it was way too long for what it was. It was like anytime one of the trials would happen, it would be interesting, but that would only take up like half a chapter.
Right.
And I'm like, okay.
Like, I want to know more about that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Then why don't we just get into what our favorite and least favorite parts of the book were?
Yeah.
So,
all right. You go ahead.
Okay. So I would say my favorite part of the book was the crazy scene where Wormtail chops his arm off, throws it into the cauldron. Baby Voldemort's in there. It's gross. He pops back out. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, for me, things turned from straight up kids book into, okay, this is a little bit more of like moving into the YA content that's a little bit more, advanced in my opinion. A lot darker for sure. I mean, it's like I put in the summary, like literally Wormtail's chopping his own arm off, throwing it into this cauldron. I sent Ashley a picture. I pictured, like, when Deadpool's growing his little legs back? That's what I pictured. Okay, it's like in the cauldron. And then they stole Harry's blood and put it in there, and Cedric is dead. It was just a whole crazy scene. And even though it was like a lot of bad stuff was happening, it was my favorite scene because I was like, oh, finally, we're here. Like, something's happening. A lot is actually happening. I was like, okay, I really enjoyed that, I think. I think that was definitely my favorite part.
Yeah, that was a highlight for me as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting.
But that was a little bit of whiplash going from freaking
for sure.
Kids, so I'm scared to dance and ask girls to dance, and then you're having to freaking fight this evil overlord that like wants to battle a 12-year-old. Golly.
Yeah, I had a hard time picking my least favorite part because, like, truthfully, pretty much everything that happened before that point in the book was my least favorite part.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's fair.
I don't know that I can like pick, like, if I had to pick something, I don't know. It might be like, I really hated that they kept on like talking about those like weird lobster creatures that Hagrid was raising.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, we get it. Why do we have to keep on talking about this? It's weird.
Yeah. It did come out way too much.
Way
and like
too
they were in
much.
the trials for like a second too. It's not like
No, they weren't that
it wasn't the
important.
final boss or anything.
No. So I really disliked that. But yeah, I mean, there were so many parts I disliked that I don't know that I could really like narrow it down. But just the fact that it kicked off with such a strong intro. Such a strong intro, and then just went to nowhere for like 600 pages of nothing.
Dude. Yeah. 100%.
So what was your favorite part?
All right. My favorite part was the intro.
Yeah, it was
I'm like,
good.
oh, this is going to be a good one because it's dark right out the gate. Mm-hmm. You got the creepy. So for Liz, she pictured Deadpool for Voldemort at the end. At the beginning, I pictured the grandma that's like screaming about chocolate and SpongeBob and like, like that to me is Voldemort in his little chair with Wormtail feeding him and yelling at him. So that was funny it was entertaining all around because it's funny and it's dark and it's creepy and then you have the snake going around and it's setting the scene. Yeah. So yeah, my least favorite part. Yeah, it falls flat after that. So what can I pick to talk about? So I actually picked when they were at the freaking Quidditch tournament. Just that. That's my favorite part. No, but the Death Eaters were like, messing with the Muggles. I didn't feel like it was necessary, and it just icked me out that they were like, and their knickers were, it was icky. It was creepy. They're like floating in the air, and their knickers are showing. Like, I just feel like that was a weird choice for the author to make for a kid's book, where it made me as an adult uncomfy. Yeah. Well, do we need to focus on that of all the things?
Well, that's why
have them just spinning in the air or throwing up. I don't know. Just spinning in the air is enough. Yeah. Like, we don't need to go in that kind of.
Well, that's why I included that in the 5-sentence summary because it really stuck out to me as well. Like, that's why I put they exploited the humans because that's how it felt to me. Yeah. And I was like, I get it. Like, it needs to come across that like the Death Eaters are evil and obviously bad and like we're supposed to really dislike them. But I did feel like that was taking it to kind of a weird, unnecessary place it didn't need to go.
Yeah. Almost like crossed the line a little bit for a children's book that I was just like, yeah. So that's mine. Okay. What about your favorite character in this book?
So Moody was for sure my favorite character. Yeah. He was cool. I liked
Mad Eye is Moody, right? Yeah.
Mad Eye Moody, I think.
But it wasn't really him, so I felt conflicted because I would have thought he was going to be my favorite too, but then it wasn't really him.
He's still my favorite.
But like at what point was he switched out? Like pretty early? Oh, early on because they put the goblet and his name in the Goblet of Fire. Yeah, but I'm assuming we'll see him in the next book, I'm hoping, because I do like his character a lot too.
I think that I commented in the Fable chat that it was like, okay, so when they first start describing him, who was I picturing him as? I can't remember, but I was picturing him as someone good looking.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny. Because I imagine the movie guy. Because I remember what he looks like.
I don't know anything about that. Yeah. So I was picturing like someone like
he's not good looking.
Kind of like lurky, but like dark, and he's got like one eye. You could still be hot with one eye, whatever.
Well, yeah, for sure. Like eye patch. Well, he doesn't really have one eye. He has like a crazy. They're
like
different sizes.
Kind of eye situation going on.
Yeah, I think it's more cartoonish than that, but sure. Yeah, whatever works for you.
Yeah, well, that's what I was picturing. But then it was funny because that's what I pictured for like the first paragraph they were describing him. And then like the second paragraph, I was like, huh. And then I started picturing like the creepy witch from Snow White who's like holding the apple.
Oh, yeah.
Like when she opens the door and she's got like the big eye and the little eye. And she's like,
yeah, exactly.
That's exactly like what I started picturing. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. And so I feel like he was a really memorable character. And I think that we're going to like his character in the future if we see more of him anyway. Like, even with...
Poor guy.
I know. He's been through a lot.
Traumatized.
Seriously. I mean, he was locked in that trunk for what? Like, a while.
A whole year of school. And before that, he already thought things were coming after him. And everybody was like, oh, that crazy old man.
Yeah.
They were stalking him after all.
I know.
So, trauma. Poor guy. Hope they have good freaking psychologists at that school.
School counselors, yeah.
Golly, going to this great. Hopefully, they're nothing like our school counselors.
Not a shout out to you if you're listening. We didn't like you at all. Okay.
Anywhoozle, who was your least favorite character?
Okay, my least favorite character was Winky the elf.
Yeah, dude, those freaking things are so annoying.
Like, okay, first of all, the fact that her name is Winky really bothered me.
Yeah.
That's a weird name. It's a weird choice. Okay, so that bothered me. Then it bothered me that she wears a tea towel.
Yeah.
That was weird too. I was like, oh my God, I just thought of something. Hilarious. Okay, so I'm like, I don't know if I could say this on the podcast or not, so we might have to cut it out later. But here's the thing, is that I dated a guy for a while whose brother was a stripper. We won't name any names. He was a male stripper. Not the guy I was dating, his brother. And I remember his family discovering that he was a stripper by finding like his profile online, and he was covering himself with just a tea towel.
Oh, great. So that's what you picture?
It's like disturbing on so many levels because that's what I think of. And then literally her name is Winky.
Oh.
And I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot. It just creeped me out. It creeped me out so bad. But anyways, that's what I thought of. And it was just like the incessant crying.
Those things are the worst.
Yeah, I'm like, ew, I can't with the personality. I feel bad for them. And I'm like glad that like, Hermione is trying to like get them rights. Like they deserve to have rights and like wear clothes.
And maybe they'd be less freaking whiny if they do,
Yeah, so it's like I'm not against the liberation of
house elves.
Of house elves. But I just couldn't stand. I don't like Dobby either. So I think it's just kind of like a general thing. They're so annoying. Yeah. Okay, so what about you? Who's your favorite character?
Well, actually, so my favorite I felt was Hermione. Because of her advocacy, not only for the elves, but just in general, you can see her maturing into herself and fighting for people's rights and such, and Muggle rights. Because it stems from that. She's half Muggle, right? So
I think she's all
Muggle. She just had it in her. It manifested with her. So yeah. So her advocacy is honorable. And I feel like it's probably setting us up for something else with that. I think. I don't know. Like, it's what it feels like because it's talked about so much. Everybody else is kind of a jerk to her. But, she's
a little overbearing.
Yeah, she's a little overbearing. But you know what? That's how women get things, people have to get things done. That's how you get stuff done.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease, man. That's how it goes. Yeah. It's true.
So even though those house elves are so annoying, I appreciate what she's doing. And my least favorite was freaking Ron. Like, get over it.
Get over it.
He was so annoying to Harry, like, the whole time. And then he finally gets over it. It's like, this is what I get it. That's where it comes into the, like, really adolescent age group. Because you have things like that. She's relating to kids going through school where friends decide, like, I'm mad at you and I don't trust you anymore all of a sudden, even though we've been through hell and back with each other. Jeez. And Ron is like, you did put your name in there. And he's like holding that against him for so long. And then he's jealous that he's so popular. And it's like, this is the fourth year. Like, come on. I could see this in like the first or second, but the fourth year, he just annoyed me anytime he was talking. Which just a couple episodes, he was my favorite. So there you go. I'm finicky. Cynical? I don't know.
Both. Finical I like, though.
Okay, great.
But, like, I did enjoy when Ron is all bent out of shape because, Hermione is going to the ball, the dance with the other boy. And she's like, well, if you wanted to go with me, you should have asked. Yeah. And, like, just called him out. I was like, good for you. Because, that's true. It's like, you can't be jealous and then, like, do nothing about it. Yeah. Come on.
He was just being a weirdo. But he's definitely growing. Like, he's figuring out his feelings. And
how old are they? 13?
Yeah. Something like that. They started, they get their letters at 11. And this is the fourth year. So, what's the math on that?
It would be 14 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Assuming that it works out that way. But, yeah, so I felt like I didn't really enjoy that kind of, I don't know, that kind of drama either. Yeah. Like, I don't care to read about middle school drama. However, I did think that was funny that she called him out. Yeah. And I did mention to Racinda, because I was curious, I was like, Harry kind of seems to me like he has an anger problem.
Yeah.
Like, because he has these, like, really intense outbursts, and she was like, well, he was abused a lot as a kid. And I'm like, totally. But she says that they explain that more moving forward. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That plus, his parents being killed when he was a baby. Like, he's going to have some stuff. So I actually look forward to finding out more about that because it makes him more multidimensional. Which, coming into this, all the characters seem very surface level to me. So it'll be interesting. So yeah, even though Ron was annoying me, I think it's going to have a lot to do with the next book. So yeah, while there's a lot of filler in this book, so you said it great in your review. Like, I think it's, especially the way it ended, it's setting us up for other things. And maybe we'll look back and be like, well, all right, fair enough.
I think that it was a necessary bridge, like just to take a little side tangent to explain myself with that 4-star rating, because I really wanted to rate it 3 stars. But then when I thought about it, I was like, I think that, we're halfway through the series, let's say, because even though we're on book 4, books 3 or books 5, 6, and 7 are substantially longer. Yeah. So we're about halfway through the journey now, let's say, give or take. There had to be a way to transition into that next phase of like being a little bit more grown up, a little bit more able to handle these like, you know, darker topics. And you know, if that was the way that she chose to do it, I'm like, did I love 3/4 of the book? No. But I feel like the ending was good enough, like so much better than the rest of it, that if that is what we can look forward to in the next 3 books, then it will have been worth it to put that groundwork in. Yeah. So that's where I'm coming from on that. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. Also, I did want to give Cedric a honorable mention. As one of my favorite characters, because I really appreciated him. I thought he was a great character. Up until the very end. And I did think that it was really well done. Like, Cedric was not a main character, but when he said, "Hey, will you make sure you take my body back to my parents?" That really got me. That was really sad. And I was like, for a side character that we don't know a whole lot about, I felt that really was accomplished well.
It was a meaningful death. It wasn't just, gotta kill someone to get these kids used to it, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that for sure.
Yeah.
So what did you think? Like, what did you think as far as, should it have been banned? Did this have a lot of witchy stuff in it? Do you think your parents would have hated this book? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, so obviously, you know, I don't think any of these books weren't a ban, but if my parents made it through everything they did so far, they would have also been really skeeved out by the whole muggles flying in the air with their knickers out. Yeah. So I say that because I literally think that's how she said it. But yeah, I think that they would, definitely too far, too gone. So that's the part. Yeah. That's what we could always just go, because since most of us don't feel like this, should we have a ban? What would have banned this book?
Yeah, and I agree. I don't think that it should be banned either. I think what would have taken my mom out specifically would have been all of the violence at the end. Because, I mean, we already know that she doesn't like, any of the fortune-telling stuff, any of that kind of thing. No, absolutely not. That would have thrown her off for sure. That was also fairly prevalent in this book. There was a lot of spells. She wouldn't have liked that.
A lot more.
But I think, honestly, the whole, like, chopping it off of the arm thing would have just totally, like, absolutely not. This is not age appropriate.
You know, when I think about it, it's so wild because we read a lot of crazy books that are classic literature at that age that had crazy stuff like that going, but it was just because this one was tied to magic that there was like, you know, it would have been taken with a fine-tooth comb and be like, nope.
Well, I'm like, didn't we have to read like this was a little bit older, but like we had to read some like war book in high school that was pretty terrible. I can't remember what it was called.
There's All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yes, I think that's what it was.
I mean, even Of Mice and Men, you know, in that was freshman year, I think, maybe sophomore. And then, I mean, Lord of the Frogs. High school, definitely there was some, but even in middle school and stuff, we were already getting that stuff. So there's that. And then also we talked about demonic possession and stuff in one of the episodes. Like, it's so interesting how talked about that was in my household when it comes to like life, but then because of the demonic possession in here, and it's weird that it would have been banned for that reason as well, because it's kind of like another example reading the book of like why you shouldn't join a cult, why you shouldn't be a crazy person. He's not being excited to watch the Death Eaters do what they do. He's not taking an interest in that like Tom Riddle does, you know? So it's weird to ban it because it's just another story of good versus evil again. And do you want to be chopping off your hand and throwing it in this pot to make Worm Guy a human, you know, again, or whatever he's called? No. So it's weird.
Cautionary tale.
It's cautionary tale, exactly. So give me a break. All right.
So how did the book make you feel? Like, how were your overall feelings about it?
Yeah, bored. I was bored.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's how I felt too.
I'm a little bit worried about the next books now. I'm worried that they're going to just follow the same pattern. And we're just going to, all right, here's another year. And they're growing, which, again, I think as a kid, I would have loved it. They're not really written for us, right? Technically speaking.
True.
So as somebody who has to read it for this, I'm a little worried that it's 26 hours long for the audio. I don't know how many pages that is, like 700 to 900 pages.
It's like, it's like over 800 pages.
I'm hopeful with the way it ended that things are going to get real crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'm hopeful too that it's like, okay, we're hitting that halfway mark. We know all the characters, right? Maybe all the major players that are pretty much there.
Yeah.
Like we might get some like, curveballs thrown in, which is great. We want that coming in later. But all the major players are established and now we could just get into the like nitty-gritty of the story. Like that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm going into it optimistically that this was a turning point in the series.
Yeah. So how did the book make you feel overall?
But then if it lets me down, I'm going to be extra bummed.
Yeah.
Up until that 85%, I was bored to tears.
Yeah.
Truthfully. And then that last part, I, got through probably faster than, much faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is actually happening. So I feel like I didn't get it.
Yeah, keep going.
I didn't get as much of like the cozy holiday vibes from this book, but I did really like the last 15% to where it made me excited to start the next one. I'm hopeful.
That's good.
Hopeful.
Really, though, the truthful answer for you is, how did this book make you feel? Tired. You kept falling asleep. She kept texting me.
Asleep.
Great. I just fell asleep again. I just tried. 2 pages in, fell asleep.
Yeah.
I would get sleeping updates. Like, I'm having the best sleep, though. I fell asleep. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a snooze fest, for most of it. It was hard, guys. Yeah. It was hard. If this was your favorite book, sorry.
Yeah.
For you.
I mean, I haven't
heard
that from anyone.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that from anyone. I've heard from a lot of people that it's their least favorite, though.
Yeah.
So
it was definitely the least, added on Fable, So people are like, skipping that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say, I am excited to read the next one because I'm hoping that we get into, what everyone rants and raves and just really likes about it. And I'm hoping it's not just like purely a nostalgia driven, fandom. Although, I do know several people who read it later on in life as well, not when they were a kid, and still really liked it. So I am hopeful and excited to start the next one.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. Same. I'm not excited, but I'm trying to be. I'm curious. I'm not against it. I'm just hoping that it's just not having the same issue. So
yeah,
the same
100%.
Formatting just starts coming across lazy after a while. Like I know they have to go through their school year. And I definitely know I would have felt differently about the book as a kid. So I'm trying to see it from both angles for you guys.
Yeah. Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Do you have any unanswered questions or feel like there was something left unsaid that you're like, hey, that should have been talked about?
No, not really. I feel like everything was wrapped up pretty well in the way that I wasn't frustrated or confused about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that I was frustrated about, I'm hoping we find out early on in the next one, but we'll see, is the fact that Harry saw Lucius Malfoy in the Death Eater circle, as well as what I'm assuming he said Crabbe and Goyle. I think he was that's their last name, the parents.
Yeah.
But was Crabbe and Goyle there? It was their parents, right?
I think it was their parents because they, because the kids were there at the end scene. Yeah. And he wasn't acting weird around them. So I would assume it's the parents.
Unless he's kind of suppressed that right now because we're only hearing the trauma. They need to freaking call those out right away. Go arrest that guy. I mean, hopefully maybe they're just in hiding right away so we don't know about it. And I'm sure we'll find out in the next book. But I was just like, hey, also though, look up Lucius Malfoy for who plays him because I think that you're most likely to be Lucius Malfoy than freaking Draco Malfoy. Obviously, it's kid difference, but just a personality-wise too.
Yeah. Okay. Will do. I have no idea who plays him, so.
Yeah, he does a great job, but he does somebody else too, so I recognized him. So I was like, oh yeah, for sure that guy. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. We love a morally gray. He's probably just evil.
I have a bonus question for you based off of a book question within this book. So
great,
just like we did the somethings last time. Something about the fears.
Bogart.
Yeah, whatever.
Bogart, yeah.
So, the pensive was the thing that Dumbledore used to remove thoughts, to declutter his thoughts. I just want to know, would you use the pensive to help declutter some of your thoughts?
Absolutely. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. I was actually thinking that. I was as I was reading it, I was like, okay, I use notes in my phone a lot, as do a lot of people. I know you do. you know, my husband's constantly like, you never can remember anything. You have the worst memory. Why don't you make a note? I looked in my phone. I think I'm up to 400 plus notes in my phone at this point. Yeah. Yep. I'm like, you're telling me to make a note?
What am I going to do with that?
I've got 400 notes that are like already going. I email myself all the time. I text myself all the time. I set alarms. I have a calendar. Yeah. You know, we have a million Google Docs. It's like, there's no other way that I could possibly function. But yeah, so when I read that, I was like, oh, that's take all my thoughts out, plop them all in the thing. Wonderful. And then I was thinking that with books too. Imagine you could just like read a book. You could take all of the content out right as soon as you're done reading it, shove it in there, and then pop it back in when you're needing to do a podcast or your live, so you'd actually remember them all. It's genius.
We just have too many tabs open in our brain. So essentially you're just, instead of, because they're so hard to delete those tabs, like literally on your phone, because you're like, what if I need that later? So that would be a way. Yeah. That's great.
I'm assuming you probably would too.
Yeah, I think it'd come in use for some things. For sure.
A lot of things.
Yeah. That's so funny. It was such an interesting random thing to happen in the book. But
I mean, it was important because it allowed him to see the past.
Yeah, for sure. Saw that scene. Pretty crazy.
It was like very witch trial-y, which I appreciated. I thought that was interesting.
That was crazy. And it all came back into play. So there were some moments sprinkled throughout. There was more filler in this one.
Yeah, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
There needed to be more. Yeah. So do you have a fun fact for us today?
Yeah. So so the fun facts, I have a fun fact to round us all at the end, a quick one, because this fact was not fun, but it was...
it was a fact.
It was a fact. No, it was just meaningful. It was a meaningful fact I found about the book. So, and again, I just got off Reddit, so who knows if it's true. In the sorting ceremony in Goblet of Fire, there is a girl named Natalie MacDonald, and she is sorted into Gryffindor. She was added, or at least the name was added, into the book in honor of a Canadian girl of the same name who died of leukemia before the book was released. At the age of 9, she wrote to J.K. Rowling explaining that she would most likely die before the books were finished and asked if she could tell her how the series would end. And J.K. Rowling replied a little while later and divulged where the major characters would end up, only to learn that she had sadly passed away before receiving the letter.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's going to make me cry, so that's why I have a little fun fact at the end. As a tribute to Natalie, JKR included her in the book and sorted her into Gryffindor, where dwell the brave of heart.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Now I'm crying and I have chills. So if that's true, that's really sweet.
That is really sweet.
So I felt like when I read that deserved a moment of recognition for that poor girl. So here's a fun fact. Okay, now that you guys are crying,
we're just going to take you on a roller coaster of emotions.
That's life, baby. That's showbiz. All right, so Fred and George, our beloved twins, the Weasley twins, they were born on April 1st, April Fool's Day.
Oh,
so
that makes sense.
Bunch of silly goofs. I love them. They're a great comic relief.
I know. I really enjoy them, too. I really love that Harry gave them his money.
Yeah.
That he won so that they could open their joke store.
I was like, I gotta say, that's good. And something from the last book. Yeah. The Weasleys aren't the best with their money, so I hope that they get that sorted out. I hope the twins do a better job. Because they, won a big thing in one of the books and then just, went to Egypt.
Oh, right. Well...
traveling is important. Experiences are important, but Ron is feeling it right now. He's wearing the lacy robes. He's having a hard time. I know it builds character, but it's let's
maybe get some balance.
Yeah, we need some stuff in the house.
How expensive really is a trip if you could just disappear and then reappear in Egypt?
True.
What are they spending their money on? They have a son over there. Are they staying with him? What's going on?
Maybe they're just not so good with the money. Well, and he's gambling, isn't he? Ron's dad, or is that somebody else? Somebody was gambling. I don't know.
Does Ron's dad have a gambling problem?
Maybe. I don't know. I thought I caught something like that.
We find that out at the end. The reason why they have no money is literally because the whole time he's had a gambling problem. Yeah. It's like a weird subplot.
Yeah. Oh, another, what is it called? Life lesson. I don't know.
Another life lesson. Yeah. All right,
so there
guys. Well, I think that about sums up Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. So the next one is the Order of the Phoenix.
Okay.
Book 5. We will be starting that soon, and the Fable chat's already up. So
there you go.
There we go. There we go.
Read them at your leisure.
Read them at your leisure. Choose your own adventure. Hopefully, the next one stuff happens
the whole time.
The whole time, not just the very end time.
And it's we need a good page turner in our life right now. Something that's
we really do
and quick. So
I know I'm curious to see what gets picked for September book club because I need something I need something to balance it out. You know what I'm saying?
And then we got to do some fall reads, guys. Let's go. Let us know what we're gonna read.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much for being here. And like we said, thank you for those of you who are able to take time out of your day to review us on the podcasting platforms.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to do that, we appreciate it so much. And make sure to like, follow, subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the YouTube channel at Bessie's in the Books Podcast. And make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Bessie's in the Books Podcast. So those are all the places. We are the people. Those are the things. We'll see you guys.
And we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yep. And Friday.
And Friday.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye.